All right, peace family. Welcome back. Uh, I've been working on this for a while now. I don't think it's ready. I don't think it's done. I don't think it's reached its conclusion. I think it's been this entire year of uh this riddle playing out, and so I don't think it's gonna be a conclusion. But it's Halloween, man. It's 11/1. It's I got we got to put something out. So I don't think this is finished, but I got enough good stuff to keep you entertained. So here we go. It's basically how the year started off. The year started off January 20th. Trump gets inaugurated, so that starts his presidential run. But really, the year starts off January 7th. The fires in L.A. Okay, then Trump gets inaugurated. And January 29th, the planes start crashing into each other. Remember, Trump is the 45th president. He's the 47th president. 4 plus 5 is 9. 4 plus 7 is 11. He's the 9/11 president, the emergency president. All right. So there's already a lot of occult going on with the election itself and Trump coming in the presidency. And him being the 60th, that was the 60th presidential election. That's important too, because if you type out 666, it equals 60. All right. So further let you know, Trump is not to be trusted. Right? He's the perfect candidate because he's a Gemini. So you can't tell when he's being fake with you. All right, and then it's really easy for him to demonic possession. And I bring that up because I just watched. I need to watch this movie actually. This movie right here, and it's about football too. Him with Marlon Wayans. This is a pretty deep movie right here. And the critics is trying to say it's not a good movie. They're trying to keep you from watching it. And I think I don't really matter if it's a good movie or not. There's something about it that's making me like, we might need to check that movie out. Might need to check that movie out. Okay, so we get to February 9th. February 9th is the Super Bowl. As you can see, Kendrick Lamar is at the Super Bowl. He's really there for this song, They Not Like Us, right? And I was trying to tell people, you're not getting the us part. The us is for United States. Because it's just like that movie, Us, right? The other Jordan, damn, this is crazy. Because this is a Jordan Peele movie. And this other movie, Us, is a Jordan Peele movie. It's really weird, It's a really weird movie. I don't know what I did with it. All right, but anyway, let's keep pushing. So you got Samuel L. Jackson playing Uncle Sam, right? Ha ha. Samuel L. Jackson, let me show you. First of all, he's wrapped up, Kendrick Lamar, he's wrapped up in the American flag. He's embracing the American flag. Okay. Plus, all these dudes are militant, but it's really like mind control, right? Very militant, but also very robotic. All right, now 1 second. They not like us, and like I'm saying, us is U.S. Okay, now Samuel Jackson played Uncle Sam. Like I said, Uncle Sam was always known for the army. I got to pull my finger up there. That was funny, but at the same time, this is where they got it from. I want you for the U.S. Army. All right, now let's fast forward. We're gonna skip ahead. Okay, the Super Bowl is in New Orleans, right? We just had the verses. We had a good time, right? We all had a good time. We all seen the verses, right? Now I gotta, put belt to ass now. But this is the thing. The verses was with the No Limit Soldiers, right? Like I just said, the beginning of the year, They not like us. And I'm telling you, them dudes was it was military, but they had that. It was also some MK mind control going on too with the performance for Kendrick Lamar. Fast forward, Master P gets the credit from the industry, really the Illuminati, right? And to me, it was all set up that way, right? Because it was really Master P versus Birdman, not No Limit versus Cash Money. Because if it's No Limit versus Cash Money, you got to have this guy, right? And he really, before the Super Bowl happened, everything was really about this guy, uh, who released the album this year too. All this is in this time frame in 2025, right? This guy releases an album, right? The quarter six comes out on June 6th. June is the 6th month, so it's really 666, right? Lil Wayne, the artist from Louisiana, and then they show you all this stuff. They down in New Orleans, right? So everything this year has been kind of focused on New Orleans, right? Shout out to New Orleans. New Orleans, so they trying to show you back in the day was the home of the soldiers, right? That's why it was so military, and that's why this is making so much sense. It's been this whole year. They've been doing this little riddle, right, with these indigenous soldiers, right, coming in embracing Americans, saying they not like us. So who is the they? It's not Drake. It's not gonna be on this Super Bowl big stage, and they're gonna put this whole big production up just for one person. This is way bigger than Drake. This was way bigger than Drake. And now the rest of the year is showing you, like I said in the beginning of the year, this was about these dudes is military. They're militant. These are just dark soldiers, right? And we fast forward back to New Orleans, back shining light on New Orleans, right? That's why you had Cash Money and No Limit. They were shining light on New Orleans, shining light on New Orleans. For what reason, right? Let me get to it. New Orleans is known for the voodoo too. Now, an artist died this year too. In this same year, an artist died. He's from Virginia, but one of his biggest albums was called Voodoo. D'Angelo, the angel that's low, the earth angel. All right. Also this year, before D'Angelo passed away, I'm skipping around. This movie came out too, Sinners, and it was about the South, right, and music, and how music influenced the culture, right, of the indigenous people. And I've been trying to play that old, down south blues type music, right, just to so y'all can get that energy of these indigenous people that I'm talking about, man. So the movie Sinners came out, and I don't think it was really too much to do with voodoo. This is down in Mississippi where this is taking place, but at the same time, there is some paranormal activities going on in this movie. I could show a little clip, and it seem like these vampires, right? These Irish vampires, right? Which we're going to talk about the French. We're going to talk about the French, but in this movie they got Irish vampires, right? So I'm hitting play, but it ain't playing. Might be for a good reason. I don't want to get the copyright anyway. So yeah, all this timeline, right? The movie Sinners comes out, right? Sinners trying to get you, right, to be a sinner, all right, focusing on American culture, right? And they said because D'Angelo passed away before that, Angie Stone had passed away in March, right? Angie Stone, my black brother, I love you, and can't say nothing bad about Angie Stone. Love Angie Stone, right? And Angie Stone had a relationship with D'Angelo, and but this is the thing. April on it's the Queen's birthday. Is the day Prince died. the Pope dies. So eventually we get an American Pope, right? We got this American president who's very popular around the world. Now we got an American Pope. So all this focus is coming in on America, right? And especially Chicago too, because the Pope is from Chicago, right? Charlie Kirk passed away. Charlie Kirk, Chicago, Illinois. Now, both these guys is Cubs fans and Chicago Bears fans and Bulls fans. And go look at the record for the Chicago Bulls, bro. Go look at the record for the Chicago Bulls. I'm not playing no games. All right. So June, Trump birthday, he does the military parade, right? Months later, 81 days later, actually, China does their military parade. 81 being the ritual number, right? Like Kobe's going 81 points on his 666 game, right? Lil Wayne with the quarter six that came out on June 6th, he made the song about Kobe before Kobe won his fourth championship. There's connections with Lil Wayne and Kobe, Kanye West and Kobe. And Kobe still comes up with a lot of these. Oh man, that's another thing. I don't want to jump around too much, man. But going back to this movie, Him, I think this got to do with Kobe too, right? These blood rituals, blood sacrifices. That's why. This is, like I said, Jordan Peele movie, just like the movie Us, right? These movies, they're connected. Oh, I found Us clip, right? Like I'm saying, Us is United States. Did you watch the movie? Us is the United States.
Hands across America, a 4,000-mile-long chain of Good Samaritans standing hand in hand. This summer, 6 million people will tether themselves together to fight hunger in the United States.
And she said, "We're Americans." Come on, man, stop playing with me. This is going down, bro. And so they honored Master P because he's the No Limit Soldier down in New Orleans. All right, and now this is the thing. The event takes place on October 25th, 1025. Some people in the world will say the 25th of October. So it'll be like that 2510. You don't need to put the zero, just leave the 251. Okay. Now this is a Jesuit number, the number 54. The best thing I could do is show you it in movies and in pop culture. So the Super Bowl, the last Super Bowl the Chiefs won. This girl was on the screen 54 seconds. They made sure it was a perfect mathematical match to what was going on, right? Now, this movie They Live, right? I saw on cable channel 54. Now, y'all know this is a cult movie, right? The number that they chose to use for the cable company that they need to go destroy was 54, right? A Jesuit number. Now, Magic Johnson announced that he had HIV on November 7th, 1991. I messed up and put 1992, but it's the same. November 7th, 1991. Days left in the year, 54. So it's a number that's used a lot, right? And the fact that they chose to do the verses on that date, right? It's the reason why they did it like that. Letting you know, Jesuit ritual coming up. I don't think it's over. I don't think this is matter of fact, let's keep it pushing, man. I apologize. All right. So you got that movie Sinners coming out in April. All right. Let's go back to where we started at. We started with Kendrick Lamar, Super Bowl military. Okay. I skipped ahead too far to this Master P verses. Let's go back to May. In May, we had this happen. May 16th, 2025. 10 inmates of the Orleans Parish Prison located in New Orleans, Louisiana, escaped through a hole in the wall behind a toilet. Now, let me show you something. I got to pull this up. I got to. But y'all should already know this, though. The 13th Amendment means if you are locked up, makes it legal to hold a person as property. You're still a slave if you locked up. All right. So when you see, and they're escaping from New Orleans, Louisiana on May 16th. This is one day after the Boule Day. Now, wait a minute. Let me show you something about the Boule and why they connected to New Orleans, right? New Orleans, home of the Creole people, right? A Creole people. This is about to get really weird now. Okay. All right. The inmates escape from New Orleans. Now, this would make it super weird. All right. Let me show you. Boule Day is May 15th. All right. Now, these the Boule members, right? A lot of them are Creole. A lot of them could pass for white. Just being honest. This is my opinion. A lot of light skinned people in this, I'm just pointing that out. Just in case you can't see. There's a lot of red bones in this picture, right? So this is the Boule. It's like one of their first pictures they took back in 1904. So, boom, these inmates escaping one day after, the anniversary of Boule Day. It kind of raised his eyebrow. And, recaptured in the same year. It took a while. It took some months before they could, catch them all. They just now caught the one dude. But now this would make it real weird. All right. This would make it real weird. In the same year. Pretty much the very next month. No, matter of fact, before, I think this happened in April. No, it was the same month. May, bro. The same day. May 16th. 10 fire departments fought a blaze at the 164-year-old landmark. A devastating fire destroyed a Louisiana historic plantation. The Nottoway plantation burns down. At the same time, I just showed you that 13th Amendment because I'm saying these are slaves running away. At the same time, a freaking plantation is burning down. D'Angelo, do you got an answer for this? Is it voodoo? Because that's what the people were saying. The indigenous people on TikTok were saying, yo, this is the ancestors. This is some hoodoo. This is some voodoo. This is a Louisiana plantation burnt down. At the same time, quote unquote, slaves are escaping. This is the news story. This is the riddle. I don't think it's solved, but maybe one of y'all can do it. But I'm telling you, before the end of the year, I think we're gonna get the conclusion of this. All right, the voodoo, because this is a spiritual world, and the celebrities be trying to tell you with the one-eye symbolism. They're telling you there's a world that you can see, and there's a world that you can't. The spiritual world. That's why they throw the 33 around. When you die, you weigh 33 grams less. Now they really say you weigh 21 grams less, but there's an answer for that. The souls weigh differently, and it has nothing to do with physics. When you are in pain, when you are hurt, bitter, sad, then it weighs a lot more. And the ancients try to tell you the same thing because they have measured your heart with a feather. You can't be having too much regret and sorrow in this world before you exit the simulation, because you're just gonna come right back. We don't want to get too crazy, but we talk about D'Angelo and voodoo. I believe that was the blood sacrifice for this whole riddle, right? And we talked about Louisiana, then we got to go back to the French, because the French owned Louisiana first. It was the Louisiana Purchase that helped the United States moved more Western. All right. Louisiana, the home of the voodoo, the biggest artist, Lil Wayne, released the album in this year. He's remember he was mad about not being able to perform at the Super Bowl in his hometown. Well, boom. Fast forward, Master P and them, they don't perform in their hometown either. Which nobody understood that too. All right, so I had to go down to Sin City. All right, now I thought this was a plantation fire too. This was the fire that burned down to the only, dark president, which would be Obama. It was a fire next to him. They were saying that what house was a plantation too, but I don't think so. I can't find no literature to back that up, back up them claims. So that's just he say, she say. All right, but yeah, shout out to Soldier Slim. Right, it's a big thing with back in the day with New Orleans and the soldiers. Right, that was that energy for some reason. Right, I don't think they picked it up for no reason, and I think there's something there. Right. Now the French. All right, now let's get weird. Now let's get into the Halloween part of this shit. Let's go. The French. Bruh. How am I gonna tie this in, man? How am I gonna tie this in? Okay. Okay, first let's do this. There has been some resets. I think, I don't think I'm reaching too much with that. We're saying that there's been some resets. So I'm gonna play a few videos. First, I just want this guy gonna say something real profound, right? And it might go with this, and it might not. But let's see. I need him to say this. All right.
Very rarely when they were actually built. So I think the Tartarian Empire was what was around. I mean, it goes all the way back to Genghis Khan and further. Right. But the style of building and the technology and the airships, which people state, as far as they're concerned, was part of the Tartarian Empire and their technology, wasn't that they were the ruling class. And in America, it wasn't really the Tartarians. They were actually a group of people called the Moors, which were black.
See, I was talking about. I did a few months ago. I did a video about the Tartarians and Tartarian architecture and cymatics. And he just said that the Tartarians was connected to the Moors in America. I just found this video yesterday, but I said this a while ago. Like people, somehow, some way, people have forgotten some events that happened, or maybe just information is being suppressed, and now we're in the information age, and all that stuff is just now starting to come out. But you see how he said the Moors in America, right? And the one guy I watched, Zachary Hubbard, he said, well, after D'Angelo died, he was like, it does seem like they do a lot of rituals with, he said black people. And I'm like, yeah, we do. I mean, if you're gonna do a ritual on this land, you're gonna have to involve the indigenous, in some way, some form, you're gonna have to involve the indigenous people. So if these people want to go to war, or maybe it's gonna be an American Civil War, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but it's something to symbolize in soldiers and war and stuff like that. And we see what's going on with ICE on the streets and stuff like that with this Donald Trump character. He's a war president. And he hit y'all with the okie doke with the first presidency. This one is going to be way different than that one. I guarantee it. And so, this man saying the Moors were in America. I wanted to, because most people think the Moors Europe. I'm trying to say no, it was Moors in America, right? Those Moors over there probably came from over. Okay, let's keep it pushing.
Nobility. So in America, we would be talking about the Tartarian influenced Moors. So it was almost a way of life, almost an era and a style They were very dapper. Most of them wore hats, top hats. They even got dressed up and wore hats on the beach. Even the children wore hats. It was very much as you see the Victorians, perhaps more middle.
The children, and that's what I want to get into. Because if we think about this time frame, right, of these late 1800s, that's what, to me, that's where a lot of lies come out of. Late 1800s. The modern school system comes from the late 1800s. A dude by the name of Horace Mann. And dinosaurs come from the like a whole lot of bullshit come from that late 1800s. And really, the story of slavery comes from that late 1800s. The story of these slave ships and all that shit. So now I told the story in reverse. I told the truth. You could ask any European where your family from, they're gonna tell you somewhere over in Europe. And how'd y'all get over here? More than likely it was a boat ride. Now, to me, okay, I can't say to me because y'all don't even know what the hell I'm getting at. Okay, I gotta let her talk, man, because she looking so good with the. All right, let me play this. My bad.
Like Chevy or something, and I have them all and I group them and I'm creating them. I would all have a base name that I name them as, like batches. So I see that China, I more so think China has the least amount of variations and a lot of very non-distinguishable characteristics, like phenotypes that can distinguish them between each other. And of course, we always would not be able to tell, like if we don't come from the group, it's hard for us to see variations.
Because the Louisiana, gotta remember before we go through this is about to get real weird. Louisiana connected to the French, right? France. Something really weird was going on in France. And y'all gonna see. And it's got to do with population. And an extra group of people needed a place to go. Okay.
Just like some people with brown people can't see it because they're not from that group, but it's more extreme within China. China, to me, is a good example. And a lot of Spanish, I don't think there's any such thing as overpopulation. I think what they do is they fill the space with NPCs, which are holographic people. And also, I think they fill them up with these orphan, these type of hybridized clone people, which are Cabbage Patch, where we were talking about Cabbage Patch, or incubator children that they create that are very Borg-like, very just like with the whole thing with the Cabbage Patch, with the chimera that was half bunny and, bee, very hive-like, like think alike, very controllable, very hiveable, very hive-like. Yeah.
The Cabbage Patch babies from France. France connected to Louisiana. There was these repopulation postcards. Now look, I wouldn't trip if it was a few of them. But bruh, there's hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of these postcards about these babies growing from these cabbages. And then there's a weird story about this guy who went to these world fairs. We're going to have to talk about these world fairs too. All right. Let me finish off my Donald Trump Super Bowl right quick before we get back to that. I wanted to show y'all. They made sure to get this picture right here. Donald Trump under the Caesar dome, right? Military president. There's Trump with Puffy. Trump with Master P. Master P trying to get to see Murder Party and stuff. So there is some connections there, right? And there is connections with these ancient Moors to America, right? Like he said, they will wear their hats to the beach. Yeah, that's their fezzes. All right. The religion would be Christianity back in early America, but he get to wear a fez and be a Muslim. Right. Okay. Now let's get back to Louisiana and the French. This weird. This is super weird, y'all. These Cabbage Patch kids and the Cabbage Patch doll. And these connections. All right, let's go.
Search on Old World Photoshop, we began to notice a trend with old postcards from the 1900s showing early examples of compositing. There isn't much information on these. If there's a catalog, it's not easy to come by. But many of these are early examples of photo manipulation. They had surreal, real photo postcards, in which they would attempt to trick people with the illusion of photography. As we continued to look through these old postcards, a very strange and unsettling trend started to become apparent. It began with just simple baby postcards. At first thought, seems like any ordinary postcard. But as with the same Sky postcard mystery, where the author began to see a trend of a variety of postcards, well, there's a category of postcards that deserves its own name and label, but it doesn't seem very well known, as there are no websites or videos explaining this topic. We shall call it the mystery of the repopulation postcards. There are other names for this style, such as baby postcards. By the end of this video, you'll be shocked at how many of these there are. We're talking in the thousands. We found one reference to what these cards were in a book on Amazon named Babylon, Surreal Babies, in which the author...
Have you ever just looked at the word Babylon? It got baby right in it, bruh. That's what I'm saying. These stories about slaves. If you think about the early 1900s and late 1800s, there was a lot of orphans, bruh. And with orphanages, that was a big thing. I think Babe Ruth, well, matter of fact, the Catholic Church would have an orphanage. That was a big thing. The nuns would be in charge of the orphans. Babylon got the word baby right in it. Surreal babies. And there was a guy. I'm trying to find this fool. Matter of fact, I think let me let this video play. Matter of fact, while I find
author describes these same peculiar 1900s postcards and how they were deeply influential to many famous artists, including Salvador Dali. Yet, the author even admits that little is known of their history. In order to understand why we've labeled them repopulation postcards, a thorough understanding of resets, Tartaria, orphan trains, incubators, asylums, and Oddfellows will be necessary.
the Cabbage Patch Babies. Let me show you something else right quick. There was a guy by the name. Now, with these inventions, man, there's always, you got to look at the inventions of the computer, the inventions of the train, and all this stuff. There's a shift in consciousness, but these new inventions, right? So, that's like Coney or something like that, bro. Yeah, I almost had it. Morton A. Coney. This is the guy who pretty much invented the incubators, but he was charging people to come and see the incubators. Right, and this dude's connected to the Cabbage Patch Kids. Charges people to come see the incubators at the World Fairs. That's what I'm saying. These World Fairs. This is important too. These old World Fairs where people used to come and bring their inventions and stuff. That's a whole nother video that we're gonna have to do, but about just the World Fairs and all the inventions. I'm telling you, people was intelligent, man. Back, maybe not smart, but intelligent. All right, so yeah, this guy who invented the incubators, he's important to the story too. But let's get back to this.
Plan.
I'm telling you, like, okay, a few of them, okay, maybe nothing, but the fact that there's so many of them, it's like, is this, is it symbolism? Like, what was really going on? I'm guessing symbolism of like some cloning going on. All right, let's keep it pushing.
Yes.
Control, and they had to send these people somewhere, and you know, All right.
Babies in the water.
There's something here.
Babies in a nest. Babies in eggs being hatched. Then the babies arrive on the train. There's something eerie about these photos, as if someone's trying to tell us something.
We've also got kids in cabbage patches. Does this have anything to do with the Cabbage Patch Kids? So where do babies come from? In the early 1900s, the most common answer given to children would simply be that the stork would bring the babies, or that they were found in a cabbage patch. But why would babies be found in cabbage patches? The legend of the Cabbage Patch Kids involves a young boy named Xavier who meets a mystical fairy bunny bee creature, so a hybrid or chimera, and he follows this bunny bee through a secret tunnel behind a waterfall. On the other side of this waterfall, he finds that babies are being produced in a cabbage patch. The stork, known as Colonel Casey, would then come and pick up the babies. He even has his own uniform. So he's a worker, a soldier, as well as the Cabbage Patch Kids' official historian that would then deliver the babies to their new homes. Not only that, but there's an evil witch named Lavender McDay. She and her weasel and jackrabbit henchmen are literally trying to enslave the Cabbage Patch Kids to be miners to dig for gold in the valley. You can get
The kids and the slaves, as it would have been orphans. The child labor laws came in because, bruh, there was no money. It was just not the way they. I'm gonna give you a piece of paper. You gonna work all day, and I'm gonna give you some piece. Think about this. Think about this before money. You know, the invention of the paper money, the modern money system. You might do it for some gold or some silver, but I'm gonna give you a piece of paper. When you got a piece of paper in there to write on, I'm just saying, go back 120 years. No, you would do a trade for a trade, or you do a trade for some food. That was the payment system. It was around for thousands and thousands of years. These people, like I said, the money system, the modern money system, come from the late 1800s. A lot of bullshit come out of the late 1800s. Was the barter system in early America? Yes, of course. In early America, the barter system was a fundamental economic practice where goods and services were exchanged without money due to the scarcity of coinage. Colonists bartered with each other and Native American tribes, trading items like furs, crops, tools, and crafts. Right? I'm gonna do some work for you. Maybe you gotta do some work for me. Maybe trade for a fur. Uh, I put the horseshoe on your horse. You put the shingles on my roof, something like that. And that was the way. That's how you got paid. So this whole thing of that's the funny thing to me about you wasn't working for money, no. So yeah, it's easy to look like it's slavery. No, you're doing a favor for a favor, basically. It's the barter system. All right, so let's keep it pushing, man. Yeah, this guy right here is I wanted to do some more research on this guy, but it's the guy with the incubators, right? He's connected to the Cabbage Patch Kids. The Cabbage Patch Kids is connected to the orphans, the little rascals. They were orphans. They never came out and really said it, but they were. All right, so a lot to still get to, man. A lot to still get to. All right, but yeah, I mean, Master P, Massa is Massa P, and the Master P is the president. And they saying he's the racist president, so it is what it is, man. That's the storyline, right? That's the storyline. All right, man. Peace to y'all, man. I know it's early. Like, comment, subscribe. We up out of here. Peace, 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 peace. And share the video. Your browser has lost connection to your camera. Make sure you have the right camera selected and close. Okay. Did they? I hope y'all can hear me, right? I don't know what's going on. All right. Peace, y'all, man.